Okay, so this is the review for the area and perimeter quiz numbers 1 through 3. This is number 1. I'm going to start by drawing the rectangle and writing down what was given to me in the problem, which is the area equals 40 and the perimeter equals 28. So my formula for area is base times height, and my formula for perimeter is 2 base plus 2 height. Now I'm going to solve for b for both of them. So I'm solving for b for area. I have 40 over h equals b. And to solve for b for perimeter, I'm going to end up with 14 minus h equals b. Now I'm going to set both of these equal to each other since they both equal b by the transitive property. I know that 40 over h equals 14 minus h. And I'm going to multiply both sides by h to get rid of the h on the denominator. So I now have 40 equal 14h minus h squared. I want all of that on one side so that I have it equal to 0. So I'm going to add h squared and subtract 14h on both sides. So I end up with h squared minus 14h plus 40 equals 0. I'm going to solve for h by factoring it out. And I now know that h could now equal 4 or 10. I'm going to choose h equals 4. Now I'm going to plug that back into the original area equation where I know that the area is 40 and I now know the height is 4. And so I can solve for b, which is 10. So the answer to my drawing is that the height is 4 and the base is 10. Alright, for the next problem we have a triangle, and it is a right triangle, and we know that the area is equal to 24 and the perimeter is equal to 24. So I'm going to set up my equations. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, and the perimeter is the base plus the height plus y, which we're going to set as the hypotenuse. So a base, height, and y is the hypotenuse. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 2 on both sides of the area equation so that I know what my number is that my base times height is equal to. So multiply both sides by 2 and I have 48 equals base times height. Now that I know 48 equals base times height, I can come up with all the different 2 number combinations that multiply together to give me 48. So 1 times 48 equals 48, 2 times 24 equals 48, 3 times 16 equals 48, 4 times 12 equals 48, and 6 times 8 equals 48. Alright, so now what I would do is I was going to use Pythagoras' theorem, which usually looks like a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but in our case, because of the way that we drew the triangle, it's going to be b squared plus, h squared plus b squared equals y squared. And I'm going to plug in those different combinations. I'm going to basically guess and check with those 5 different combinations of numbers to see which one both satisfies Pythagoras' theorem and my perimeter equation. So I'm going to solve for y here for the Pythagoras theorem. So y equals the square root of h squared plus b squared. And now I get to choose any of those different combinations at the bottom to plug into my Pythagoras theorem to find out what y is. And I'm just going to choose the 6 and the 8 to start with. I'm going to start at the bottom and work up. So I'm going to plug in 6 as the height and 8 as the base. So the square root of 6 squared plus 8 squared equals y. Square root of 6 squared is 36 and 8 squared is 48. And you add those together, we get the square root of 100. so y really equals 10. So we said that y equals 10, and the base we plugged in was 6. Or sorry, the height that we plugged in was 6. The base we plugged in was 8, and y equaled 10. So Pythagoras theorem, we checked out, that works just fine, but we need to make sure that it works in the perimeter formula. So let's check our work. We're going to take those numbers and plug them into the perimeter formula. So perimeter equals 24, that was given to us. The base is 8, the height is 6, and the hypotenuse is 10. So 8 plus 6 plus 10, does that equal 24? Is it true? Yes. And so we have found our answer. The height is 6, the base is 8, and the hypotenuse is 10. Okay, so I have my parallelogram, my last problem for this video. I was given that the height is 7, perimeter is 34, and the area is 56, and I set up both my equations for area and perimeter for the parallelogram. So my area is base times height. My perimeter is 2y plus 2b, and now I'm going to plug in what I know. So 56 equals base times height, and we know that height is 7, so I can divide out 7 on both sides and find out that b is equal to 8. Now I know that my height is 7 and my base is 8, so I'm still looking for that y, which is the other side. I'm going to use my perimeter formula for that, so perimeter equals 34 2y plus 2b, and we know that b is 8 now. 2 times 8 is 16. So 34 equals 2y plus 16. Subtract 16 on both sides, and I am given 18 equals 2y. Divide by 2 on both sides, and y equals 9. I now have my y side is 9, my base is 6, and my height is 7.